The road we're on is paved in Garth.
Come along on the journey
as we explore
Garthology.
Think of it more as a conversation. I like that. So if this is truly a conversation, then I say let the conversation begin. Showtime!
Hi guys, it's Deb.
And I'm Pete.
And I'm Jess.
Welcome to another episode of Garthology. For Season 2, Episode 20, we are discussing the cover of Garth Brooks' The Thunder Rolls by heavy metal band All That Remains. I will drop a little snippet of their version right now. Heavy metal band formed in 1998. Their eighth studio album, titled Madness, was released on April 28, 2017, and included their cover version of Garth Brooks' The Thunder Rolls as the 13th track on the album. The song was released as a single on August 22, 2017. All That Remains lead vocalist Phil Labonte is quoted as saying that they included the Thunder Rolls because our core audience likes a lot of diverse styles of music and that they were trying to think of ways to reach out to new people. So guys, what did you think of this version of one of our favorite Garth Brooks songs?
Pete, you go ahead with that first.
I gotta be honest, I really struggled to listen to this song and to get into it. I did, however, enjoy one thing about it. The instruments in the background, they were pretty cool. Like, because it's not the normal Thunder Rolls background instruments that you hear. So I enjoyed that. But the auto-tune or voiceover to voiceover to voiceover on this man's voice was like, I did not enjoy it at all. But I listened to some of their other songs that they had released. I don't know what they were trying to get at of doing that, because maybe a different genre of music that they, or where they were going with it. I didn't think it worked out well for them.
Well, and along those lines, so until hearing this song, I would have said that there are not two musical genres that are more objectively different than country music and heavy metal.
Yeah,
for sure.
And I would not have ever imagined a heavy metal version of a Garth Brooks song. But saying that now, I think if any song were ever going to work as a heavy metal song, it would be The Thunder. Because it's just got that, darker, kind of gloomier. And I think, we talked about this when we reviewed it one of the times, that maybe it's because it's done in that D minor, so that kind of makes it sound foreboding. And so maybe if anything was ever going to work as a heavy metal song in Garth Brooks's library of songs, maybe The Thunder's the only one that could have.
Maybe
you let somebody like a Kiss or somebody who, I could see what you're saying, Aunt Deb. Like, I agree. Like, that would be the one out of his entire library that would work. But this one did not work for me at all. The music video was cool.
It was cool. But I could even see it crossing to more of a rock song, but not heavy metal, if that makes sense. Right. Because even we just talked about, that Garth, they took an Aerosmith song and then it became a Garth song. So I think you can go back and forth between country and rock and make that work. But heavy metal is its own specific sound. And that's a lot further away from country music, I think.
They are really good at their heavy metal genre that they are made to sing. Don't get me wrong. They've obviously done well with the different albums that they've released. And, it looks like they've been pretty successful. I just don't think that this one worked for them, in my opinion. But I'm sure that their fans, think different than what we think or whatever, and that's fine.
Yeah. And I appreciate that they tried,
Sure, absolutely. You got to give it to them for trying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And in the article reading it, they did mention in there that they wanted to try to keep the music video and the sound of the song, the story of the song, very close. They didn't want to change it away from what Garth had set it for. And I thought that in the music video, they actually did do a pretty good job in their own way of doing that. And they definitely did not cheap out on the making of the music video. Obviously, there wasn't. I felt that there was more of them singing the song in that farmhouse or shed or whatever they were in than more parts of the music video outside. But they did good. I mean, the one thing I love is the horses running through the field with the dark clouds in the back. That's awesome. Like, that is country right there.
It was a gorgeous video, and the sepia tone, it was really pretty.
Yeah, it was. And they did a really good job of like paying tribute to the original. And I think that's why you noticed that they showed a lot of themselves singing it, because they wanted to stay true to the storyline of Garth's video. And they did that, but they didn't want to duplicate his video.
Sure.
So I think that's why they may have shown more of themselves just singing and then having just bits of his storyline video in there.
Yeah. Well, and they're also performing for their audience. I mean,
Right.
because there's going to be
True.
people who've never heard the Thunder Rolls who just
Sure.
are not country people, and they might have loved that version of it. I don't know.
Right.
Right.
To each his own, right? Everybody's got
Yeah.
That's a question for Garthologists out there. If you are a country music fan or a Garth fan, and also a heavy metal fan, we would love to hear from you to find out what you thought of All That Remains version of the Thunder Rolls. It would be interesting to see, because the three of us are not big heavy metal fans. It's not a genre of music that I normally listen to. I have a couple of heavy metal songs that I like that I've learned of them through different people, and they've kind of stuck with me as I've grown. But it would be interesting to see someone who goes out of their way and listens to that genre. What is this version like for you? I'd love to hear that.
Or even just people who, stick to the country genre, if they listen to that clip, and I imagine there'll be a link where they could find this video and this version of it, to listen to hear what they have to say about that.
So I actually did find a clip of their video that's available. And so I will post a link to that on our website so you guys can see what we're talking about as far as like the horses and the clouds and just the feel of it, how there is kind of a Garth Brooks feel to the video. They stuck true to that storyline, but they also did it in their own way, which I say more power to them for that. I think that's great.
Yeah. And another thing that they really focused on in the video was the talent in these men and their ability to play the different instruments. Like, I thought that they played the instruments very, very well. And, they're not, steel guitar and the violin and the normal things that we get from country music. They did it with, drums and slide guitars and stuff like that. Like, I thought that they did really, really well. They definitely can play the instruments. And it shows a lot of that talent in that video.
I made note of that too in my notes. So lots of talent on the electric guitar, which I love and I'm a fan of in, rock music in general. And then I was okay really with the lead vocals. The sound of the song is obviously different because it's a heavy metal version, but I was okay with that. The intro was pretty monotone, but then it picks up as it goes on. But I was not a fan of the background vocals. It did not work for me. I liked it better before that part came in, and nothing against the background vocalist, but the two parts together just didn't blend well to me. Did you guys notice the difference in the sound when you...
Yeah. It was a very stark difference.
Mm-hmm.
And so they didn't blend well, and that may be just something where I'm used to Garth and Trisha's voice blending so well together that then you get something so starkly different on this that it's jolting almost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was very flattering though, I think, because they could have picked any country song. They could have picked any country artist, and it was very flattering to Garth and Pat Alger, who wrote the song, that they wanted to cover it, I think. And it was also a testament of just to the success of the Thunder Rolls that anybody would want to do a cover of it. So, regardless of if you like it or not, like, as a fan of Garth, I'm, proud that somebody wants to cover his music. I thought that was cool.
Right. Somebody in a genre that's totally different and almost opposing.
Yeah.
Like, those two genres, it's not like metal bands and, country singers are hanging out together. That's not something you see. If there are two opposite sides of the spectrum, that's got to be it.
Right. You're not going to show up at a country concert and walk into a mosh pit. Like, that ain't going to happen, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And getting back to something that you mentioned, Pete, about the vocals, I think that they tried to, my understanding and reading about this is that they layered the lead vocal's voice multiple times. But for me, it was so distracting that not only did it make it sound auto-tuned, but it also took me out of the music because I just kept thinking about the vocal.
Yeah.
Which maybe that's, I know one of the things that they talked about for that album in particular, their whole 8th album, is that they wanted more focus on their vocals. And so maybe that was their way of doing it. But for someone who wasn't expecting that, it was very distracting.
Yeah, or who isn't familiar with the rest of the album, or, we've talked before about the importance of listening to an album as a whole. So this obviously filled a spot on their album.
Right. That is true. All right. That wraps up our discussion of All That Remains cover version of Garth Brooks' The Thunder Rolls. Now to some breaking news.
Breaking news.
As most of you are probably aware, Garth recently had to cancel his Nashville concert because of the weather.
Yeah.
I felt so bad for those fans because I know they were heartbroken. But ultimately, Garth did the right thing. I mean, it was a safety thing. The lightning out there, I saw some pictures from it. It was crazy.
Yeah. The amount of the water that he showed on Inside Studio G this last Monday that was coming down off of the different layers of that stadium. Holy moly. So, yeah, that weather definitely did not look like it was going to be worth a show for sure.
Yeah, and Nashville, they've taken some hard hits the last few years storm-wise, so definitely not worth the risk to all those lives for sure.
Right, I agree. And I know it was a hassle to get out, and I know that people were worried about, well, when is going to be the reschedule and how is that going to affect their plans? Because there was talk that they were then going to do it the next night, but then they canceled that too. They knew they weren't going to be able to do it then either.
We as fans are just lucky enough to be able to enjoy the artist and the show. Garth made some very, very good points about what actually goes into a show and rescheduling. He's like, think about it. Saturday, we had 70,000 people that showed up. They had to start to feed those 70,000 people and serve them drinks. He goes, then we had to shut it down. He goes, you have to be able to turn it over to restock for those same 70,000 people the very next day. You have to have the servers and the EMTs, first responders, parking control. And I thought to myself, it's not just as easy as saying, hey, you know what? We can't do it tonight. Everybody hold your tickets. We'll see you guys all back tomorrow. Let's do it. There is so much more when you think about it that goes into those shows. One thing you can guarantee with Garth Brooks is even though he had to cancel and you could tell he was heartbroken over it, he's definitely going to make it right. That show, they'll do a little extra for that show for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I bet they will too. It'll be an amazing one. So again, sorry to all those Nashville fans, but I know he will make it right for you. So just wait for that rescheduled show. It'll be awesome. Now over to Pete for shout-outs.
Shout-outs.
Yeah, this episode shout-out goes to Tara Nichol. Tara, we love to hear about you finding the podcast. And you had a wild 13 days. And the video of you shaking Garth's hand at the dive bar, wow. Just wow. That was amazing. And we really look forward to interacting with you going forward. Again, if you have any show ideas or anything that you want to contribute, you can always find us the website and our socials.
Thank you so much, Tara.
Thanks, Tara. That was awesome.
Be sure to check out our website for links to articles we've discussed in this as well as past episodes and other bonus material. And remember to hit subscribe on our podcast on your podcast platform of choice. Do you listen to Garthology on Apple Podcasts? If so, stop by there right now and give us a rating and write up a quick review to let us know how we're doing and to encourage others to listen. And be sure to share us with any Garth Brooks Facebook groups you're in by posting about us or sharing one of our posts there. Help your friends in low places become Garthologists too.
Yeah, and speaking of friends in low places, going back to the socials, you can find us at facebook.com/GarthologyCast. And if you're on Instagram and Twitter, we are at GarthologyCast there. We look forward to the interaction, and we really do enjoy it. We appreciate the support.
Be sure to tune in next time where we'll be reviewing some of our favorite Garth and Trisha duets. We love them all, but this time around we'll be taking a close-up view of Where Your Road Leads, The Call, Squeeze Me In, Wild as the Wind, Whiskey to Wine, and Shallow. That will be Season 2, Episode 21, and will be available on your podcast platform of choice on August 17th. Until then,
this has been Season 2, Episode 20 of Garthology. And I'm Deb.
I'm Pete.
And I'm Jess. And we'll see you guys next time. Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, guys.
Finish it! Finish it!
And so I will also post a link.
Sorry.
I was trying to look away then, but it was too late. I couldn't. So there is actually a video of them. Oh, see, no, I can't. I've lost it now. It's gone. I'm going to just laugh through the whole thing.
Good times.